So let me introduce you. I am so honored to have our guest tonight, Dr. Krishnadutt Chavali. Many of you in the modern alpha community know him to be a big brother, to be a leader, to be a gentle soul, and ever positive presence. Okay, to me he has been a very knowledgeable person I respect very much. And when we got to discussing our interests and everything, I came to know that he is actually heading a department which deals with toxicology. He's a medical doctor. He is from Chhattisgarh. He is a doctor in AIIMS, Chhattisgarh, and he loves the nature. He loves snakes. He loves wildlife. And when I thought of him, I spoke to him and I said that, will you be interested to talk to our community about snakes? He jumped at the idea. And the amount of knowledge he has practical knowledge about snakes, about how we can really interact with snakes. Not that we most of us want to, but what if we suddenly encounter one, right? What do we do? So Dr. Chavali is a professor and head of forensic medicine and toxicology at AIIMS Raipur. He has more than 29 years of government medical college teaching in government medical college in Gujarat, Chandigarh, and Raipur. He is a life member of a lot of organizations and institutions. He also started a course in medical and forensic toxicology, the first and one of its only kind in the country, right? And of course, he has received numerous laurels and awards, and he specializes in forensic medicine, forensic pathology, and toxicology. So who better to talk to us about snakes and their and their behavior and how to avoid them, how to save ourselves from them and still love them, than Dr. Krishnadutt Chavali. So with great honor, I invite you, Dr. Chavali, please uh, say hello to our participants. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, are you there? Yeah, you're there. Okay, now I will spotlight you, right? And I will also give you the allow to remove provision from multi-pin. Okay. I think I have to ask you to unmute yourself. Okay. Can you unmute yourself now? No? Okay. All right. I'll try again.
Got it.
Yeah?
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'm good. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. And without further delay, I would like to jump into the topic. It's a
Please,
very
please.
exciting topic for me as well, like you said. Let me, can I share my presentation, ma'am? Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out to attend this important session. Before I begin, I would just like to ask all of you, how many of you are comfortable seeing a snake suddenly in front of you? Can you say me in the chat box? Okay. How many of you are scared when you suddenly see a snake in front of you? Yeah. Thank you so much for your responses. Thank you. So I am Dr. Krishnadutt Chavali. I am professor and head of forensic medicine at AIIMS Raipur, and I welcome each one of you for having taken time out to attend this session. It speaks volumes about your commitment towards nature. Uh, this is summer. I'm sure everywhere it's hot, but then, like they say, once if once the summer is over, monsoon is not very far behind. You'll have rains, and during the rains, you'll have snakes coming out, and you will be encountering those snakes. As a professor of toxicology, of forensic medicine and toxicology, we do deal with lots of patients, especially during the rains, who have been bitten by snakes. So I would just like to tell you some facts. The more we are aware of the subject about the topic, the more we we can protect ourselves as well as protect the snakes, because snakes are a very important part of nature. They help us in many ways. So this there is some problem with the PowerPoint. Yeah, you can see so many newspaper articles like this of people dying of snake bites. Around 64,000 people in India becoming the snake bite capital. And one interesting news item, which is from today's newspaper: boy dies after snake bite as family delays hospital care for ritual treatment. So this is the usual picture in many of the rural areas, because snakes are in found in good numbers in the rural areas, and that is the place where they are not aware of what to do when they encounter a snake. So before we begin, I would give you some facts and figures. The total number of species of snakes in the world is around 4,000. And in India, around 350 snake species are found. Of these, the venomous species are around just 600 in the world, and in India, it would be around 65. So you can see that vast difference in the numbers of venomous snakes as compared to the total number of snakes found in the world as well as in the country. Of these 600, only around 250 have the potential to kill a human with only a single bite. So we are just unnecessarily alarmed. Out of the 4,000 snakes, only 250 can kill a human with a single bite. And for your information, the largest number of venomous snakes in the world are found in Australia. And you know what? Snake bite fatalities in Australia is just one a year. Only one a year. Only one death per year, despite the largest number of venomous snakes being found in Australia. Compare that to India, we have around 250,000 snake bites every year, recorded snake bites. I'm not talking about those that go unrecorded, unregistered. And of these, around 50,000, one-fifth of them, they die initially before any treatment is instituted. So that's a very dismal picture for us. And this is about human deaths. I have not taken the figures of deaths. Almost always the poor snake is killed. So if I look at the statistics for snake deaths, they will be much more than this. So let's bust some myths first before we talk about what to do when you encounter a snake. There are many misconceptions about snakes, and these misconceptions, they cause more harm to us than the animal itself. This is what the facts say. All snakes are venomous. We just busted that myth. the vast majority of them are non-venomous and have no threat at all. Only 15% of species found in India are medically significant. So you can see that the number of snakes that are really dangerous to us are very few. Snakes chase humans. We have a very interesting belief in the public that when you kill a snake, its partner comes after you. It would take revenge. This is pure myth. Yes, there is some truth in this. When you carry that snake with you, that smell may attract other snakes and they might come in to investigate what happened. But otherwise, when you kill a snake and leave it there, the snake is not going, its partner is not going to follow you or come to your house and kill you. They don't pursue people. And almost always, snakes are shy creatures and they bite only when cornered, when they are stepped on as a defense. Third myth. How many of you believe that a dead snake is safe? When you see a dead snake on the road and you see that it's dead anyway, and you go and try and investigate, you try to kick it to see whether it's really dead or not. Even if it is dead, because snake is a cold-blooded animal, its metabolism is very low, and the cells, the tissues survive for a very long time, even after it's dead. Myself, I have encountered a snake that was brought by a patient 10 hours after it was killed. When I tried to see what snake it is by using my forceps, it moved suddenly in a way that it could bite me. So 10 hours and it was still showing movement, though it was dead. So they are reflex bites from killed snakes. So never, even if you find a dead snake, never handle it alive or dead. The other myth is that snakes are fond of milk. How many of us are aware of this thing? We we have this Nag Panchami where people go and pour snake milk into places where snakes reside, and they think that we are doing a big help to snakes by feeding them milk. Snakes actually drown in milk because the tongue of the snake is not designed to lap up milk. It is forked. It is a sensory organ for the snake to sense the molecules of air, to see whether there is a person nearby, whether there is a animal nearby, and whether it can have its food. So this tongue is not designed to lap up milk, and that could actually be dangerous to the snake. But yes, some snakes are fond of ants. They eat ants. So this milk might attract those ants and maybe it could help, but then snakes would never feed on milk. Snakes dancing to music is something that we all have seen. You think of a snake charmer, you know the snake charmer has a flute. He plays on the flute, and the snake, especially a cobra, it opens its hood and it appears to be dancing to the music. But do you really know that snakes do not have ears? They don't hear at all. They simply they feel the vibrations that we cause by our movements. And they have this Jacobson's organ, which tells the taste about the air that they sample. That is why a snake frequently pulls, it brings out its tongue to sample the air around it so that it can taste. So snakes do not dance to music. It's trying to be defensive. It's trying to defend itself, looking at the movement of the flute. It's trying to see whether that flute is going to attack it, and then it can bite in defense. So it's a big myth that snakes enjoy music. And another myth is when you're bitten by a cobra or maybe say a crate or any venomous snake, you think that the person is certain to die. But that's not true. Only around 20 or 30% of bites are, 20 or 30% of bites by snakes are dry bites. What I mean to say is, we are not the food for snakes. Snakes are not going to eat humans. They prey on small animals like rats, like mice, like lizards. Some snakes also eat other snakes, frogs. So these are their main prey. But so the venom is a mechanism nature has given to the snake because they don't have limbs. So it's a mechanism given to them so that they can inject that into the animal, immobilize it, and then they can swallow it whole. Snakes don't have teeth. Snakes don't have limbs. So that's a handicap, and they overcome this handicap by using the venom that God has given them. So that venom has two roles. Number one is to immobilize the animal and then so that it can swallow it whole. Number two, it is to defend itself. So a snake might use the venom to defend itself. So there could be a defense bite. One is a business bite where it's doing it for uh, preying on food. The second is a defense bite when the snake feels cornered and thinks that this is the only way to save itself. They may inject some venom. The third one is a dry bite. A snake which has just had food has bitten an animal might have emptied its venom sac, and now when it bites, no venom exits from the fangs. So it could be a dry bite. And a fourth bite, like we have already seen, is a reflex bite. A reflex bite is a bite by a dead animal, which where the reflex arc continues to be intact. And we saw 65 snakes in India are venomous. But if I look at the statistics, there are only four big snakes. We call them as the big four. Only four snakes that are actually responsible for the majority of serious, dangerous snake bites in India. So if you can recognize them, you can appropriately react, and you tell the doctor, you can tell the responder what you saw so that appropriate treatment can be instituted. One of them is the Indian cobra. We all know what is a cobra, and we know that it's recognized by its hood. And it has a spectacle mark on its hood, either one or two. And this is one of the most known and recognized snakes. It lives it lives in fields and near human settlements. The other snake is a crate, common crate. This common crate is a thin, slender snake, stealthily moves in the nights, usually bites at it's a nocturnal animal, usually bites in the night. A very painless bite, so you don't even realize it has bitten you. And that's why it's very dangerous and very venomous. And by morning, the person wakes up with an abdominal pain and breathlessness. And then, before he realized that a snake has bit him, he would be, he could either die or if he goes to hospital, if he's lucky, then he can be saved. Third one is the Russell's viper. This is a very dangerous, a very aggressive snake. It lives near agricultural areas, and with minimal provocation, it can bite. And the bite of a Russell's viper produces severe local damage. It can produce kidney damage, and the person bleeds to death. His blood doesn't clot, and he can die. And the fourth important venomous snake of our country is the saw-scaled viper. Those of you who have seen a saw-scaled viper would recognize it by its movement. It has a sideways movement. It's very quick, very aggressive, and bites at the slightest provocation. So these are the four snakes which are medically relevant to us. And why so? We'll just get to know about that soon. But at the same time, not all snakes. There are many snakes, like some of the non-venomous snakes, just to protect themselves, they can use that same shield as a venomous snake. You can look at this banded crate, a very venomous snake, usually found in the jungles. But there's another snake that could look similar. A yellow spotted wolf snake is a non-venomous one. You can see that. They look almost similar and anyone can get confused. Look at the cobra, the head, the head of the cobra, and look at the rat snake. A very docile, it's a fast moving but a very useful snake for agriculturists. It feeds on rats, protects our grain, and but it looks like a cobra to the untrained eye. This is a king cobra, which again is venomous, but it's so shy that it avoids humans at all. It doesn't come in contact with humans. Very few fatalities involving the king cobra have been reported till date. Another lookalike, you can look at the Russell's viper. You can recognize it by the three rows of diamond-shaped marks on its back. And look at the other snake. This is something which uh, I had taken a picture of just a week ago in Raipur. This is the Indian rock python. So it looks almost similar. And to an untrained eye, if you think of the Russell's viper as the python or the python as the Russell's viper, both can be dangerous. This is the common crate and it's lookalike common wolf snake. So these are some of the things that I have pictures I have shown. A saw-scaled viper, very venomous, like I've just seen. And look at this common cat snake, a mildly venomous snake. It is not non-venomous, but it's mildly venomous, doesn't cause fatality. So, and it looks almost similar to the cat, to the saw-scaled viper. The purpose of showing all these look-alike pictures is to tell you that we are not herpetologists. We are not people who deal with snakes. So it's better to keep a safe distance from snakes rather than try and identify it and handle it yourself. So when, like we have already said, and many of us have agreed, when we see a snake, most of us freeze. And that's okay. That's a natural response. But what you do now after seeing it is what makes the difference. There are three things that can help you stay calm. Not supposed to panic, not supposed to shout, and alert the snake, confuse the snake. Stay safe, take the right steps, maintain a distance from the snake, and seek help. Like I said, we are not herpetologists, we are not experts. Seek help, know when is a right time to help, to ask for help, and how. Stay calm, the first one. We should stay calm? When you panic, you would make sudden movements. Sudden movements would startle the snake and it could trigger its defensive mechanism. It thinks that you're trying to attack it by those sudden movements, and that can give you a defensive strike. So if you are not, if you're calm, if you can stay without movements, they would not sense, they would not feel threatened, and there would be no bite. So stop moving immediately. Do not scream. Do not run. And observe the snake from a distance. Observe so that you know where it has gone. And when you seek for help, when the help arrives, you can tell exactly where the snake might be hiding, and it can be caught and it can be left in the wild. Stay safe. What do you do when you see a snake? Back away slowly. Give it space. Give it so much space that you are beyond its striking distance. Usually that is 6 feet. So move away steadily, very calmly, without sudden gestures. Never catch it, never kill it. Attempting to catch or kill a snake, we have seen, can result in a bite. Even if it is dead, it can bite. So leave it alone and protect children and pets because they are the people who might who might jump towards the snake. A dog with you could bark at it and it could get bitten in turn. A child could run or move suddenly and can threaten the snake. And if you are indoors and if you see a snake inside your house, just observe it and call for wildlife rescue. Don't remove it for yourself. If you can, seal the room where the snake is found, get out of the room, seal the room so that it doesn't escape from that room. And when arrives, they can take care of the snake. In the home and in the field, how do you prevent snake bites? So, prevention is always better than cure. Wear shoes because, especially in the fields when you're going out, shoes would and maybe thick jeans, shorts, and slippers, barefoot or slippers is not a good idea, especially during the rains, so that you might step on a snake and it could bite in defense. But jeans, pants, and shoes could help you. If you have a flashlight, that would be best. You can see it. And stick, if you have a stick with you, the stick is not to hit the snake, but to cause sufficient vibrations on the land so that the snake senses the vibrations and moves away from the vibrations. So that's the purpose of carrying a stick with you. Keep your surroundings clean and clutter free. Snakes prey on rats. If you keep your food uncovered, and if rats, after you go to sleep, you might have rats, mice eating on that food, and snakes would follow them. And whenever you reach into a dark spot, look for especially those warm dark spots. In the villages, those stoves where the food is cooked. Now the fire has been put out, but the area is still warm, it's dark, and that's the place where a snake which cannot generate its own heat would come and it would stay there for warming itself. So whenever you are reaching out into those areas which are warm, which are dark, then always use a torch. Look, see whether it's safe, and then put your hand into the area. If you are bitten, what do you do? If by chance, if by bad luck you are bitten, the first thing we all watch in movies, and we what they do in movies is to cut the wound, suck on the venom, and spit it out. Or they would apply a tight band around the limb to prevent the venom from entering into your blood circulation. All these things are harmful. I won't have the time right now to discuss each thing, but never cut the wound, never suck on the venom, and do not apply a tight band or tourniquet around the limb. These will cause more harm. The person will definitely suffer harm if these things are done. It's not only the person who is bitten, but if the venom is being sucked out, the person who is sucking out the venom could be affected. So, this is dangerous to do. So, like I've already said, stay calm, keep breathing, stay still. The idea is not to move the limb. The limb that has been bitten has to be immobilized. Immobilize the limb. Keep the limb still. Keep it below the heart because the snake has bitten on the skin. It has not bitten into your vein. So the venom is not going directly into your blood. It's going from the tissue, and from there it travels through what are called as lymphatics, and from the lymphatics it goes into your blood. So if you keep your limb still and you immobilize it, then the movement of the venom from the bitten area to the lymphatics would be very slow. keep it below the level of the heart, and that will make sure that the gravity will pull it down and it won't enter into your lymphatics, or the movement will be very slow. Avoid any home remedies. That's what we saw in the news article in the first slide. Home remedies will only cause more harm. No cutting, no sucking, no tourniquets, no going to charlatans. You going to people who would try to do some hocus pocus will only delay treatment and can cause death. And get to the nearest hospital. In that case of the boy who died, as per today's news reports, the hospital was just 2 kilometers from his house. But the family preferred to take him to a Baba some 50 kilometers away. And he tried all his tricks, and ultimately the boy had to lose his life. So get to the hospital, because an antivenom, that is a injection for venom, could be urgently required. Though we know that, stay calm, because we know that not all bites would have injected venom. So stay calm, but at the same time, go to the hospital. Let the doctor decide whether treatment is required, whether antivenom is required or not required. So speed matters. Antivenom, when given, is most effective when given early. So every minute counts after a bite of a venomous snake. So make note of the time and get to the hospital as early as possible. So you have emergency contacts. You can have the 108 National Ambulance Service. You can call that. You can call your nearest government hospital to confirm whether there is antivenom availability. And you can call local wildlife rescue for taking care of the snake. And if you can, take a look at the snake's appearance, so that you can tell that to the doctor and appropriate treatment can be started, because not all snakes will have the same symptoms. Just remember these 3 steps. Pause. Stop all the movement. The moment you see a snake, back away. Slowly create distance. Give the snake a way out and call for help. Never handle the snake. Never handle the situation yourself. Let trained people come in, be it to handle the snake or be it to handle the person who has been bitten. So, snakes deserve all our respect, not our fear. So, when you see a snake, don't panic. Give it the space and give yourself safety. They're a very vital part of our ecosystem. They keep rodents in check and they maintain balance in nature. If there would have been no snakes, so many rodents, rats, mice would have destroyed all our crops. Snakes do not seek conflict with humans. The more we understand them, the safer we all become. So, what you have learned today, I hope you have learned something today. And whatever you have learned, share it with your family, with your neighbors, with your community, because knowledge is the best protection. Be aware, be safe. Thank you so much for listening to me patiently.
Wow. That was really insightful. I'm sure all of us agree. Agree? Everybody? Write in the chat box. Insightful. Lot of our misconceptions, lot of our the thoughts and beliefs have been dispelled. Yes? Yes? All of you? And we will take questions now. Please write your questions on the chat box, and I will just read them out. So one question I think I had seen. One second. Yeah. Uh, so I think that the question is answered, Vikas. What to do when one gets bitten and does not know the species of the snake? Of course, it will not be possible for everyone to know the species of the snake. But as Dr. Krishnadutt said, that if you see the pattern, if you can see the color of the snake, the pattern of the snake, if you can describe it to the doctor will be able to recognize that. All right. Okay, next question, please. Are venoms hemotoxic? Venom hemotoxic or neurotoxic?
Yes, you are unmuted.
Yeah. Uh, Basically, there are three types of venoms. One is neurotoxic, which affects your nerves and causes paralysis, and thereby your breathing is affected. Second one is hemotoxic, like the vipers, where your blood doesn't clot and the person bleeds to death, and also a lot of local damage, local muscle damage, due to which kidneys fail. And the third one, that is sea snakes. Sea snakes are basically myotoxic. They affect your muscles and they can cause instantaneous death. So these are the three venoms that are usually found. Neurotoxic snakes are of the big four. The cobra and the krait are neurotoxic. The Russell's viper and the saw-scaled vipers are hemotoxic.
Wow. Thank you. Next question is what are the okay, now I got someone about it. I'm sure Krishna that she has also seen. What are poisonous kind of snakes found in urban areas? Would you like to take that?
Yes, yes,
What is the
definitely.
fundamental mistake he has made?
The fundamental mistake that here, anyway, this is what many doctors do, even many doctors do, and I don't find fault with him. You call them as venomous snakes, don't call them as poisonous. Because they contain venom, they are not poisonous. Snakes are edible. People do eat snakes, and that's a different story. But we say poisonous when you eat a snake and something happens to you. That's a poisonous snake. Yeah, venomous snakes in urban areas are yes. We have cobras, we have Russell's viper mainly in those dry, dark areas where you keep some those dry twigs and leaves. You essentially you keep spaces where they can hide, where they can stay away because they prefer darkness, and places where they get ample food. So if you have a place where rats come to your house, there you may expect snakes, especially the krait, the cobra. These are common, and Russell's viper. So all three are common. The saw-scaled viper mostly is a snake which prefers dry desert areas. So that may not be very common in the urban locales.
Okay. Thanks again. Um, so this another question is, can the doctor know which snake it is by looking at the bites? No.
Sometimes yes, and sometimes no, because like I said, crates don't even the bites are the fangs, the teeth from which they inject the venom are so thin, they are like your insulin needles, hypodermic needles. So they may not even leave a bite mark, visible bite mark. So that is one thing. But viperine bites are large bites, and usually would be some bleeding from that wound that could be visible. But more than that, the symptoms that the person presents with. Like I said, if it is a neurotoxic snake bite, the person becomes breathless. He will have paralysis. You might have seen people who can't open their eyes because the paralysis of the eyelid muscles. So we look at those symptoms, we look at those signs, and we make sure that this is a venomous bite, and we make sure that venom has entered the body. And what type of venom? Anyway, we have only one anti-snake venom available in the country, and this is for these big four. So it's a common polyvalent anti-snake venom which we use for all the which for any of the four snakes. Any of it may have bitten you, but we use one common anti-snake venom. So it doesn't make much difference when treatment is available.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you. All right. Then, what if we can't describe the snake bite? How will doctors give antivenom in such cases?
Yeah.
And are antivenoms harmful? That's interesting.
Yeah. Part of this question I have already answered.
Yeah.
Doctors give antivenom after looking at the symptoms, looking at the signs that they leave. and whether their person is affected, because we said that some bites are dry bites. So it could be a cobra which has bitten, but there could be no venom injected and there would be no treatment required. So we first decide whether treatment is required. And yes, the only treatment available is antivenom. It's life-saving for the person. As of now, right now, we have a patient with a Russell's viper bite on his hand. He's in the hospital for the last 10 days. He's out of danger for the bite, but the subsequent effects are being managed, so he's in the hospital. So that's a very life-saving drug that is available. It could have its adverse effects, but that should not stop us from administering, or that should not make us refuse treatment. If at all side effects appear, we can handle them easily.
And Dr. Chavali, how do we, what are the symptoms that the doctors look at before administering the antivenom?
If we know where the snake has bitten the person, we look for local symptoms or whether the effects are spreading. If it's only local symptoms and we wait for some more time before the spread of signs, the symptoms into the entire body, especially vipers. Suppose it has bitten on the toes, usually the legs are affected, then you find that there is some swelling which is going up from the foot to the knees and from there to the thighs. So if it is spreading, rapidly spreading symptoms, will swelling and local effects will definitely warrant initiation of treatment.
Mm.
Or if the person shows effects of paralysis, he is not able to open his eyes, he is not able to breathe, his oxygen levels are falling. These are symptoms where we need to institute immediate treatment. So we look at neurotoxic symptoms, we look at hemotoxic symptoms, and then we start treatment.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Another question is what even I had in mind was that you said about you should not tie any tourniquet.
Yeah.
But we learned from some courses or some, this thing that tourniquet will stop the venom to spread in the veins. Why do you say otherwise?
Yeah, that's a misconception actually, because tourniquets, if I can demonstrate, this is the hand, and if I'm tying something here, if the person is bitten on the hand, something is tied at the hand, you see
Mm.
that there are two bones in your forearm, number one.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you are tying something, you are not totally blocking off the blood supply. So still between those two bones, there is space from where blood can flow. First
Uh,
thing. Second thing, if you're tying it above it at the level of the arm, even then, why it's harmful? Because snakes have not bitten into your vein.
mm,
So there is no point of stopping the blood circulation. If you tie a tight tourniquet, the part distal to the tourniquet can go blue and cold and gangrenous. If not because of the bite, because of the tourniquet, the person might lose his limb.
mm,
So what is advocated is to use a flat, wide band of cloth which can be wrapped snugly around the whole hand, beginning from below going upwards. This is called as the Sutherland's wrap. A Sutherland's wrap is nothing but a broad band of cloth which you use a wooden scale sort of thing to give support to the limb, and then you wrap the cloth around the hand snugly, not too tight, to
mm.
make sure that the limb does not move. That's all. That is the most effective way of preventing spread of the venom.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for dispelling that misconception. Yeah, I think Dr. Chavali has already said that 20 to 30% bites are actually dry. Okay. So any more questions? Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, I see one more question. What's the timeline within which one
Timeline.
should reach? There is no timeline. The sooner, the better,
Yes.
especially in viper bite, because we saw that we have seen a person brought to our hospital maybe 3 days after a bite, and he was about to be declared dead. And when we diagnosed it as a snake bite, we started treatment on the third day. And then the person went back home on his feet. So that's very rewarding to us and very happy that the person survived. So without thinking too much, the sooner the better. That's what Coach Val also has said. Don't think too much, just reserve your seat. Same thing here. Don't think too much, just go to a hospital.
Yeah, exactly. Treatment for sea snake bite in India. Is it available?
There's no treatment for sea snakes. Sea snakes do not bite unless provoked. Unless you go and handle it and then you irritate it, it's going to bite. Otherwise, and you won't have much time
Yeah.
to go for treatment.
Yeah.
Sea snake bite is almost instantaneously fatal. A sea snake can kill a horse with a single bite. So you can easily understand it that you don't have time to go for treatment.
Wonderful. So we are well past our time. We got so carried away with this interesting topic. Thank you so much, Dr. Krishnadutt,